I'm a small business owner. My name is Carolyn McCulley, and 6 years ago I started a small film company in the Washington, D.C. area. And like most entrepreneurs, when you start a company, you think you're going to be doing all day long the thing that you love about your job. But actually, you end up finding out that you're spending a great deal of time managing people, doing bookkeeping, account management, taxes, things like that that aren't any fun at all, but they have to be done. And a surprising part of it, I think, is the fact that you have the care and feeding of your team. And to not only develop people technically, what skill sets do they need, what training, equipping, what encouragement do they need, but also how do they have the faith for the future, how do they work together, how can you encourage them to take risks. And my staff is a blend of people who are Christians and non-Christians, so I want to make the non-Christians feel comfortable when we're working on projects that are both faith-based and not. And I want them to feel like this is a space where their viewpoints are welcome, as well as my own. And yet I also want to apply scriptural principles at work. And one of them I found to be the most challenging for me is the how to bring correction to somebody about a task while making them feel encouraged as a person. And I think this is one area in which women can come to the table with some innate skill sets that are helpful. I appreciate the way that men's brains are wired to be very compartmentalized. And there are times when I tell myself, compartmentalize, just be a guy right now, you're not going to think about other things, just this task. But where it's helpful sometimes to have women whose brains are wired to think about everything all at the same time, which is kind of fearful in a conflict, but we'll think about things a lot, is to also think, how can I use what God has given me in a womanly way to be encouraging and nurturing in an appropriate way to staff members, to clients, and to others? And I have learned for a lot of women leaders, we can be wired to give answers very quickly. Yes, no, no, yes. And I have found out with both men and women alike that what I think is just, you asked an opinion, I'm giving you my opinion. Now you negotiate, you start your side, but they're like, no, I feel like I have no room to bring any other ideas. I have learned the value of asking questions. And I think in talking to other women leaders in various industries, that the ability to make space for other people, whether they're peers or other leaders or even others that you're managing, to share their opinion means they need to know you want to hear it, and you have to say, what do you think? And it can feel a little perfunctory, but it's not. It's a way of acknowledging other people. And when I travel a lot for film, I go to different cultures within our nation and also outside. And I realize Americans, we're on the extreme in terms of cultures that value time and efficiency. And we have a lot to learn from cultures that value people. And I think as Christians, we're not going to be rewarded for being efficient. We're actually commanded to be a little inefficient by following the Lord. There are times when He's on a need-to-know basis with us. We can't make a 5-year plan. We just have to trust Him and follow Him. So that means we follow the way that Jesus developed people, which is to spend time with them, to invest in them, to lead them from a position of friendship and like, I'm here to invest in you, and I want to share with you what's happening. And transparency, the appropriate amount of transparency in what's happening in the business and in what you need people to do. And then at the same time, I also encourage, especially younger women, and I think this is an important point, when you're being critiqued, it is your task. It is not your person. I like you as a person. Don't think and confuse that. We're talking about your contributions to a team and the procedure of getting something done. And it's just fix that task. And you are getting a paycheck. You are welcome to come here every day. It means I appreciate you. And my dad had to give me the same lesson. When I started work, he said to me, Carolyn, when you go to work, you're not going to get a gold star every day. You're not going to get an A. You're not going to get graded. You're not going to get constant feedback like you've gotten in school. But if you get a paycheck every couple of weeks, then you're doing well. That's your stamp of approval. That's what you need to know. And that's great on the receiving end as an employee. But as a manager, I realize people do want to know how they're doing. So not to forget that was good. And especially in an industry like film where we're reviewing rough cuts a lot, and I can easily start with what's wrong, but I need to start with what's right first, and then what needs to be corrected. And I think that's helpful in every aspect of work life.